Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, for this clip, I don't necessarily have something so special for you. No, more so I just got the typical CNN story for you. It's so obvious what these CNN talking heads are up to. They're trying to portray themselves as just neutral journalists, asking important questions, but clearly, there's a motive behind their behavior and their actions. I got a clip of Dana Bash interviewing border czar Tom Homan, where it's so obvious that she's trying to poke holes in what he's saying, while simultaneously trying to give the Biden administration an alibi for their horrible track record. But of course, it's Tom Homan we're talking about here. He doesn't mince his words and doesn't beat around the bush, now does he? No, he sets the record straight very swiftly and very decisively. Let's take a look and see these liars get completely exposed. For the partisan goons that they are, let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so I present to you Tom Homan absolutely destroying Dana Bash on CNN. Take a look at this.
President Trump and you in the months during the campaign and certainly during the transition talking about what's going to happen of people being rounded up, loaded on buses and dropping them off on the border. Is that how you see this happening?
Well, I don't like the analogy of rounding up. Look, again, this is a targeted enforcement operation. The president's been clear on this. We're going to concentrate on public safety threats. In sanctuary cities, where they don't let us take that public safety threat into custody in the safety and security of a jail, we have to go find him. If he's with others in the country illegally, ICE will not turn the blind eye to that. ICE is going to uphold the oath they took. They're going to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and signed by a president. And they're going to do that without apology. I mean, if any sanctuary cities force us in this position, that's exactly what's going to happen.
How many deportations do you think that you can carry out this year? Last year, for example, the Biden administration did deport about 270,000 people, which is the most since 2014. I know you said ICE has not been doing its job, but there have been a lot of deportations? What's going to happen coming up?
That is not accurate. The Biden administration is hiding the numbers. If you look at those removal numbers, over 80% were Border Patrol apprehensions on the border that were immediately removed. They weren't ICE removals. So if you look at what ICE has done in the interior of the United States under 4 years of President Biden, they have the lowest numbers of removals in the history of the agency, despite a historic illegal crisis on the southern border. So they can claim 240,000, whatever removals. That's simply not the fact. And under the Trump administration, were there fewer removals? Yes. And why was that? Because we secured the border. We weren't releasing millions of people in the United States to have to go find and remove. So it doesn't matter how many people were deported, it's how many people were released in this country, and millions were released into this country by the Biden administration that were not released by the Trump administration.
I just want to be clear. I'm not obviously getting these numbers out of thin air. They are coming from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency. You're saying that they're giving us false information?
The numbers are accurate. I'm talking, where do those removals come from? They're not interior ICE removals. 80% of those removals were arrested by Border Patrol. So ICE didn't make the arrest, the Border Patrol did, and they were removed by ICE on the southern border.
What a change it's been. Isn't it nice to live in a world where the facts actually get to win? You know, it's reminding me of the short period that we had with Kayleigh McEnany, where she was getting bombarded every single day with all kinds of fake news propaganda, and she was out there with the fly swatter just whacking those pesky narratives out the air one by one. Well, it seems like we're finally back. Dana Bash tried hitting Tom Homan with a pathetic partisan talking point that Joe Biden supposedly deported in a single year more illegal migrants than anybody else. But very quickly, the record was cleared. Joe Biden didn't have the highest deportation number since 2014. This 270,000 number is nothing but fake news propaganda, and Tom Homan clears the record straight. Those are people who are basically rejected at the border, and that accounts for 80% of the numbers cited there. But Dana Bash presented it as ICE deportations to make the point that ICE has been always doing their job under Joe Biden's watch. What a complete joke, not to mention 270,000, really? That's it? We're supposed to be convinced that Joe Biden was doing his job because Border Protection rejected 270,000 people? Out of what? Almost 3 million in the year? Give me a break, not to mention all the people who crossed over illegally that were never actually accounted for or apprehended. We're talking about a drop in the bucket, less than 10%. In other words,
those are rookie numbers.
Those are freaking rookie numbers. But CNN is out here trying to rewrite history, as if Joe Biden was tough on the border. What a complete and utter farce. Once again, CNN shows their contempt for you. They think you're freaking dumb and can't put two and two together, but thankfully, we have a Trump administration and fake news doesn't do so well when we got actual competent people in positions of leadership who are willing to challenge and expose the lies. And again, it's so obvious what they're doing. Dana Bash is just asking questions, right? Just asking questions. But no, she's asking questions in a manner that dismisses the previous administration's failures and basically attempts to paint this picture as if this new Trump administration is skewing the facts, all while subtly trying to set this narrative as if the Trump administration is stepping out of bounds when it comes to these deportations. At one point, she mentions how, aren't you guys rounding up all these people? There's always a negative connotation, a negative spin, and of course, an attempt to diminish what the Trump administration is doing. Always trying to sow doubt and challenge the Trump administration, but the facts are the facts here, which is obviously something that these CNN actors are trying very desperately to avoid and steer away from. The last administration didn't do their job, they created an utter disaster, and now this administration is cleaning up the mess and actually doing something about it.
The last 24 hours, total apprehensions on the southwest border, 766. Compare that to the 10 to 12,000 Biden had at one time. CBP1 releases, 0. CHNV, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela releases, 0. Total of 766 across the entire southwest border. That is a game changer.
Yeah, CNN would rather push Biden propaganda and play defense for illegal migrants rather than stick to the facts and report on the actual successes of this administration. Daily border crossings are down to 700 a day compared to 12,000 a day under Joe Biden. That's more than 10,000 fewer a day. And we're talking 10,000 fewer bodies that are not being trafficked by the cartels, overwhelming border towns. The real story is this administration is achieving what they set out for, and most importantly, they're actually delivering the results that the American people asked for. And that seems to be another thing that's got the people at CNN totally shocked.
Deport all immigrants here illegally. I will note the ABC News poll asked about undocumented immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
Yeah, basically this Trump administration is actually succeeding. Less than a week in, and the mandate is already being fulfilled. The will of the people is being respected, and of course their demands delivered. But CNN would rather challenge, obfuscate, push nonsense, left-wing propaganda. You know, maybe Dana Bash is just really salty and trying to get back at the Trump administration after Trump revoked her husband's security clearance. Oh, poor little Dana. But obviously, jokes aside, they're clear, corrupt partisan actors. And finally, there's an administration calling them out on it and setting the record straight. I don't know about you guys, but I sure as hell could see myself enjoying 4 years of Tom Homan. In fact, 4 years might not nearly be enough. The guy's an absolute ace. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.